How to communicate in a relationship. Now, a lot of people have a lot of trouble communicating. One thing that's really important, there's a whole bunch of rules that you need to follow. One of the things is don't argue. A 10 out of 10 relationship has no arguments. As bad as that sounds, I talk to people every day who argue all the time. Arguing achieves absolutely nothing. You can disagree. You can have a difference of opinion. Totally fine. But an argument is a disagreement with aggression and disrespect in it. There's no room for aggression and disrespect in a relationship. That's why we don't argue. Adults who argue are like little kids who run out of apple juice. They're having a tantrum like a little baby. It's not a good look. Don't argue with anybody, ever. You're gonna meet people and they're gonna try to argue with you. Go, I'm not gonna argue. We can talk about it like normal, mature adults, but we're not going to argue. You guys will probably have heard me talk about the first pillar, building attraction. You want to talk in a way which builds attraction. Everything you say and everything you do in a relationship makes the attraction go up or down. Arguing makes it go down. You want to communicate in a way which makes the attraction go up. Be nice to each other. But also, you want to embrace masculine and feminine energy properly. You can't be a doormat. You want to be high value. So don't be a doormat. That's not attractive either. So you want to be nice to each other, but don't let people walk over you. Set boundaries. No, I don't like that. That's how you set a boundary. No. Have hard conversations if you need to have them. Plan things out properly. Communicate effectively. That quality communication, that real connection between two people. It's very powerful and it's a good way to build attraction, build rapport, build that likability that I'm always talking about. A few other things with the communication. Say perhaps you want a certain task done. You want your husband to take out the trash, for example, something like that. You want to communicate out of your feminine energy, but what does that mean? Well, what it means is there's a few things to it. Feminine energy is about creating desire. So you have to say it in a way which makes him desire wanting to do it. As weird as that sounds. You want him to take out the trash and you want him to want to take out the trash. So you need to communicate it in a way which really nurtures the behavior you want to see. That's feminine energy. It creates the desire. So two things I want you to think about before you communicate with anybody. How do I get them to do it or listen or whatever the case may be? Their goal, the first goal, and then how do I want them to want to do it? That's the second one. That's the really important one. I can hit someone with a stick and get them to do what I want, but it's not really effective for building a really good relationship. You want to build a really good relationship? Make them want to do it. That's the trick. Now, if you're asking yourself, how do I do that? Now you're asking yourself the right question. So before you talk, think about, why am I talking? What's the goal? If you're talking and you've got nothing to say, what are you doing? Have a goal behind it. My goal of making this video is I want to teach you how to communicate. What's the goal? How do you create desire, create attraction? How do you make them want to do it? So you can think about that way of communication, whether you're a man or a woman or whoever you're talking to as well, co-workers, kids, anybody. Also think about the emotion. So what that means is, how do you want them to feel when you finish talking? When you finish saying whatever you said, how does that other person feel which you were talking to? Do they feel motivated, inspired? Do they feel belittled, criticized, sad? If they feel the way that you wanted them to feel when you finish talking, you did a good job. Now, I think we can all think of situations where we were talking to somebody and they felt offended and that wasn't our intention. In that moment, you did not effectively communicate. You want a 10 out of 10 relationship, you must be a master at effective communication. You must be good at getting them to feel the way that you want them to feel by the time you finish talking. If they feel offended every time you talk and that's not your intention, you got no chance of achieving a 10 out of 10. It's going to be so difficult. There's a few caveats to this. If someone already hates your guts, they're your enemy, you're not going to be able to effectively communicate with them. Because you could say, hey, how you doing? And they're going to instantly take criticism with that, just because of your general presence, because they hate you already. The attraction's too low. You can't communicate with everybody. But lucky, the average person, they're not going to be that low. The attraction's going to be at least a 5 out of 10. You're going to have a normal amount of what I would call public rapport. So you can raise it depending on how you say and what you do. How do I want them to feel when you finish talking? Can I create desire to get them to do what I want to do? And why? What's the goal? What am I actually going for here? So think about those things. There's also some other things with communication you can think about. Say you need to set a boundary or have a hard conversation. Think about the triangle method, okay? You, me, and the relationship. Am I communicating for what's best for me? Am I communicating on what's best for my partner? Or am I communicating what's best for the actual relationship? Do what's best for the relationship. If the relationship needs to have a hard conversation to progress the relationship and make it better, have the hard conversation. Do what's best for the relationship, not what's best for either party. So there's a lot to think about with communication, but if you remember those few things and ask yourself those questions before you actually start talking, what's the intention? What's the goal? How do I make them feel the way that I want them to feel when they finish talking? You're asking yourself the right questions and you're already miles ahead of the average person. If you really listen to this video and do what it says, you're well on your way to becoming a fantastic communicator. Now, it's not that complicated, is it? There's no big secrets to communication. You can judge how you went on the end result. If the end result is what you wanted, you did a good job. Practice with co-workers, practice with the waiter at the restaurant, practice with everybody. It's actually quite powerful. Human beings are social creatures. You must be good at communicating. Practice with everybody. All right, you're gonna go well. Ask yourself those things. If you need more help, guys, reach out, subscribe to my channel. I'm here to help. I hope you enjoy this YouTube video.